You can't have, say, a governor, so I have immunity, or president, I have immunity. No, you don't. You have immunity from criminal prosecution, but if you do something, one of those branches can remove you from office. If you're a governor, you do something that is unconstitutional, you're going to be brought in and impeached. And then once you're impeached, then you are charged. But you'll be tried by the House and convicted by the Senate. So you don't have carte blanche. So they use excuse. A president that doesn't do the right thing or is sick, for example, if a president doesn't show up for press conference, doesn't doesn't show up for debate, the Senate.
You you break out.
think Passat network is acting up.
Could say, thank you very much. Yeah, go ahead. I yield.
Okay, Pansat, everything you said align with my my vision, but the only area I quibble with you a little bit is the area of when you said what we're advocating here, one time rule of six, 6 years or 8 years. That's not feasible in a country like Nigeria. So, in my own opinion, I think that's feasible because in a place like Nigeria, we are not developed. The structure is not well laid, where you have the judiciary, three equal branch of power. I mean, like in America, even the Supreme Court has more power than the president in certain area when it comes to rule of law. I mean, they have more power than him. Whatever they say is what goes. But in a space like Nigeria, the Supreme Court has no right. They can say whatever they want. The president, if they don't want to obey, they're not going to obey. So an example is the typical of Nnamdi Kanu. Just as an example, just one of the minute example, because that's what's prevalent in Nigerian country. So the point I'm trying to make, when you say, if they come here and give you their manifesto, if they don't implement it, after 4 years, then don't bring them back. we the Africans are not matured to that standard, to say you didn't
Okay, let
implement
me.
your policy, we're not gonna. But the reason why some of us are advocating for one time here is that they're not gonna be focusing on the next year. I mean the next election. They're only gonna focus on this particular time they're in office, that hopefully they can implement at least half of their policy. Is it not the problem we're having in Nigeria? The present government using all
Okay, let me.
propaganda, not doing anything. They are focused on the
Yeah,
next election. Is that not a
yeah.
problem?
Let me ask that I let me just put in a little word on that before I get off the phone. I hear what you're saying, but these are politicians. It doesn't matter. See, if, for example, using the case of Nnamdi Kanu right now, just forget about the president. If the courts want to adhere to our constitution, all they have to do is to take a look at it and see if there's justice done. Right? That president should not be able to impede a court, can rule the right way and do the right thing because we have to pick good leadership. Once you have good leaders, they would adhere to that constitution because it's very important that everybody feels that the constitution protects them. If his rights have been violated, it's the courts. It's not even the presidency. The presidency have executive power to pick attorney general, and then that executive then have to go to the courts to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. Once they go to that courtroom, it's out of the hands of the executive, now it's in the hands of the judiciary.
Mhm. But you see
Now,
the
even at some point, if the judiciary doesn't do the right thing, judge, they can impeach the justice who is not adhering to the Constitution. So it's adversarial, but it's checks and balances. It's the only way. If you don't have checks and balances, you have a dictatorship. But it's done purposefully because, like I said, if you look at there are two types of traditions. You have Western jurisprudence, then you have the Islamic jurisprudence. They don't really believe in democracy that way. You name me one country now. There are some that have modernized a little bit. You go to UAE and they try to modernize, but still that vestige of democracy is lacking. So Nigeria is at the intersection. They have to make a choice. Do you have a secular constitution where you have checks and balances because you can't have such a powerful executive? It doesn't matter, right? So It doesn't matter how long you give them. If they do what the Constitution says, that's all we have to aim for. If the Constitution is not good, then you try to tweak it, do some amendments. But fundamental human rights, those things are very important, sacrosanct. And we're lucky because we can copy others who are successful at it. So that's my input into it. There has to be checks and balances. The people are sovereign. We are the people, and we give them. It's a representative democracy. We give them the right to do this and do that. Whatever that constitution doesn't give to the government, it inures to the people. They have those. They just gave them some duty. Here's what you're supposed to do. As president does this for that many years. But even if you give a politician a year, then he's going to go there quickly and do that stuff that he wants to do within that 1 year. If you give him 10 years, that's even worse. It's perfect, 4 years. If you did a good job, you go back to the people, you pitch them. But that electoral process has to be sacrosanct. It has to. If not, if they know they could get back into office by manipulation, right? Then they're not going to do anything. But if
Okay,
they know, oh
Pansat.
yeah. And by the way, the one last thing, matter of prestige. One government does not have to come in there as a panacea and solve all the problems. No, if you come in there and all you did was to make sure that your successor comes in legally from now on, they cannot rig that election, and that's what they achieved, right? That's good enough. You don't have to build roads and everything. If you come there and fix the system, the systematic problem, fine. Then somebody else is gonna come in and give us power. And that's all they achieve. Then somebody else is gonna come in. So it doesn't have to be tactical win all the time. Some of it has to be strategic. Somebody come in there, like one of the panelists
Are you there, Pansat?
stuff. Try one.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no,
Yeah,
no.
go ahead.
I
Sorry.
was saying in reference to what he was talking about, the check and balance and everything, the three branches of government. I mean, it was instituted, but we don't adhere to it. That's the problem. I mean, everything is pretty much centralized to the president. I mean, is it not the people that are the problem, the masses? Because we don't follow the constitution. Some of this constitution that has been amended in 1999 constitution has been amended several times. There's some good in it, but not everything there is good. Maybe it needs to be restructured. But we don't adhere to it. This is the problem. That country, the mentality, the mindset of
I agree.
the, you
I
know.
agree. I agree. It's
So
one of the problems. It's one of the problems. It's not the only one.
yeah,
It's a mixed bag. There's lack of education. I don't mean people going to school.
yeah. Oh
There
no,
should
you're
be.
right. Education is not about going to school,
Right.
really.
They should. Those political parties should be running ads. They should and trying to educate the public in unorthodox way. Like when I came here to the United States, you'll be watching a show, even children's program. They be telling people civic education. People should know their rights. We shouldn't be in that country without power and light. It's the government that does those kind of things. What's called a common area, right? But the people expect very little or then they expect a lot. There's not going to be one person a panacea. If people should know that we have an adversarial system, they
Yeah,
should
you
know.
live in California here with me. Have you have
Yeah, I
you
do.
ever seen any governor talking about road that he built or new road
Uh-huh.
in
Abiu.
ever?
Abiu. That's what I'm saying. Even a city,
Yeah.
one city can develop Nigeria. Like LA County has thousands, if not millions, of tractors. A city, not the state. A city could build roads. They employ a lot of people to road maintenance. It's not just building the road. They have no respect. And the funny thing is that if we have good leaders, our people don't have to know everything, right? But these people are so wicked, they have no heart. Like when I came here, when I first landed in Frankfurt, and I'm going, damn. I said, look, if I wanted to go back home and yell. Now, when I got to my school, right? When I got to the school, just at the campus, man, I was so upset. These people, they come here and they see this kind of thing and they don't run back home and say, I'm not going to have anybody have better than mine. I'm not going to have any country looking better than my country, right? It's a shame because all of them come out to the United States. They don't run back home. Like the Tsar of Russia, he was back home in the. If you look at the history books, the Tsar of Russia thought that they had all these.
I think we lost him.
When
Yeah, we may
I think it
have.
was that almost he spent over six
Are
months
you
staying
jogging? Are
here.
you doing your morning? Are you doing your morning walks, Pansat? We are losing you. You are coming in and out. It seems
Okay,
like you
yeah,
are doing your morning walk in one of
yeah,
those
okay.
mountains in Cali.
Yeah, I hate it. So let me log off. I wish I was in here, but I'm here to do something by 9 o'clock, and it's almost time for me to go in 15 minutes. So I'll talk to you guys later. Man of Prestige,
All
keep
right,
it
Pastor.
going.
Take care, man. Take care, bro.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Bye bye, guys. Bye.
Man, man of prestige, you are close to my state, man. I'm in Utah. You're in Cali. That's nice.
Yeah, but I'm not there right now. See, I have two residences. I have one in Florida. I have during the summer, most of my business in Florida, so I can afford my real estate in California. It's too expensive. So most of my
Man of prestige is rich.
I don't know about rich. I have to survive. But anyway, so I'm in Florida. I'm in Florida right now. I've been in Florida for
So,
almost about a month
oh,
right now.
oh yeah. One of my guy in Florida in Tampa was
Oh, okay.
he
Actually,
told
I
me
mean,
about.
okay. Yeah, on Tapa, very
Oh,
close.
you're in Tampa?
It's
Yeah,
like about two. It's like about 2 hours from where I'm right now. Yeah.
I was in Tampa like I think last year.
Oh, okay.
Took like a
Okay. Yeah. I
seaboat,
mean, I'm in Orlando. I'm in Orlando. It's about 2 hours. I can go from yeah, that for
Uh,
something, go to Tampa, Melbourne and all that kind of things. Yeah, I've been to Tampa several times. Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah, I like Florida. It's like the weather here is like Nigerian weather. I mean, it get cool. Because I have
Yeah,
family here. I have
they
family
do.
here in small city like the capital. Tallahassee.
But
Family in
Tallahassee, yeah.
Jacksonville. Yeah, family in
Oh, okay.
Jacksonville, and I do business around. Most of my business is around. Most of my business is around North Florida. Which is like, where Orlando is central. Like Tallahassee, Jacksonville.
Tallahassee.
Then I pivot to Georgia, like Savannah. All those places.
the,
Brunswick and some.
the,
Part of what they call
Brunswick.
South Georgia. Yeah.
but the issue with
Mm.
Florida, yes, what about the crocodile, the snake? That's one thing I'm scared of with Florida.
So let's continue with the conversation, guys. The point we was not,
Yeah, the
Pastor came
conversation
on.
is good. Yeah, the conversation is a good. I mean, when it comes to term limit, right? Like Pansa was talking about, if the institutions are not working, if you give a president 8 years in power, they will not do anything. Let me quote you about Haiti. Haiti is a Caribbean country. Their term limit for a president is 5 years, and you only do one term, and that's it. So once you do your five term, your
Oh,
five
that's
years,
that's
which
how
is
Haiti
like
practice. Oh, okay, it's
yeah,
good to know. That's why we
yeah,
come to this platform and learn.
that's their system. They only have once you are elected as president, you do 5 years. That's it. You cannot more run for president. The next person comes in.
But okay, if that's
But
what we're talking about, how come that hasn't worked in Haiti? I mean, they're one of the
that,
poorest
that,
countries on
that,
the.
that's what I want to quote. Yeah, I mean, you have countries like this that they have a 5 years term. You have
Mhm.
the presidents, they come in, they don't actually do the work, right? They take the embezzled money, they care just for their own families. They just do probably a minimum of what they have to. You go to Cameroon, the term limit is 7 years. You have a president 7 years in power,
Wait a
they
minute.
haven't
How are you
done
gonna say 7 years
anything.
when your president been there for how many years? 30 years or whatever?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like every 7 years they do elections. You know what I'm saying?
Ah,
I
okay.
mean, it's not like they don't do elections. They do elections. Elections is
Oh,
coming up, right?
so Cameroon is every 7 years. Okay.
Yeah, every seven. Yeah, you're talking to a political analyst, so
Okay.
I can give you a lot of
No, no, no,
information
no, no.
from different countries.
I'm good to. It's good to know. So.
Yeah. It's 7 years term. So every 7 years they elect they do elections, presidential elections, and then like I said, it's not working. You go to France. France is like every 5 years, but this is the thing about France. you can stay in power as long as the people are voting you in France. So, and 5 years, another president comes in. If the people keeps voting you, you stay in power. So, and that is where most African countries, especially the French countries, took their system from, where you stay in power as long as the people are voting you in. So there's no term
Okay,
limit for a president.
let me get it straight. Let me hold on. Let me get it straight. Let
Yeah.
me interject. So what we are advocating here is just a one time. That's it for
At one
anybody,
time,
right?
like Haiti, yeah. But if the
Okay, okay.
institutions are not working, it's not gonna be a thing, because if the institution doesn't work and I come in power and I know I'm gonna live in 8 years, what I'm gonna do is embezzle money, take as much as I can, because when I leave, I'm not coming back again. So, I might not even start projects. I might start projects at the late of my tenure. So it still doesn't make sense, because a person that is not going to work, you give him more years, he's still not going to work. So there has to be an accountability. The presidents have to be accountable for. If I was Nigeria, it will have been the judges or a constitutional council that is actually drawing a roadmap for these presidents to follow. So if a president is coming in, they are giving him a manifesto. Hey, you have to construct this from this to this. You have to do this from this to this. You have to do this. Everything is pre-planned. So a president is coming in, actually knows what he is doing. If his predecessor did not accomplish what he is right there at the roadmap for you to do it. And if you don't follow these things, then you can be impeached. So that could be a system that could actually be good, right? You have all the House or the Senate. They have a roadmap that they sat down and organized it. They know what is good for that country. They know, okay, within this period, this should happen. We should construct this road from here to there. The president should do this. The president should do that. So if he's coming in power, he knows what he has to do already, because some presidents in Africa, they come in as president, they confused with what they have to do. It's not like United States, where a president already tells you about his foreign policy, his economic reform, what he's gonna do, what laws he's gonna pass. In Africa, these guys, like Pansa was saying, they don't even do debate. So you don't even ask the questions. They don't even know what to do in power. So even your guy Tinubu might not know most of his priority case at this point in time. I was talking to a Nigerian, like that cause Lagos Calabar Road. Many people see it as a priority case, but others that I've met were talking about security issues as one of the most prioritized issue that will have been number one on the president list. But the other, I don't know, man. It's just like I said, it has to be accountability. If not, and then the 6 years in power, 7 years in power is not gonna mean anything. That's just it.
And the funny thing about the Nigerian was, but now they changed the WAP. They realized the escape on the ground. Now they changing the WAP. Why did you realize the first time you build the world, we escape on the ground? Now you changing the WAP because escape on the ground. So why you demolish the beautiful what? You realize escape on the ground. See, they didn't plan things right.
Wait, Ibo, are you from Imo State as well?
No,
Where Enugu?
no. I'm from the state that borders it.
Huh?
The man of prestige. Can I, Judy?
Wait, I was asking him a question. He said he's from the state that you say borders Cameroon.
No, borders Imo State.
Are you from
Oh,
Anambra?
Abia.
Yeah,
Abia, Anambra.
Anambra.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Judy. Okay, fine. I want to ask this question. You think in Africa, if we should have maybe a leader like Putin or Xi Jinping of China? For me, if based on my own view, if we are such leader, I think even if the constitution agree of a one-term system, people like that should be allowed to you should tweak the constitution for people such people like that. Like you tweak the constitution for people like that to remain and do things and govern the country the way they are actually getting it done. Then maybe when they are finally decide they are not that they are done, you can return like can switch the constitution back to the earlier this thing like a kind of a unique system whereby if the person is competent, we should just let them be and remain in power.
See, I
Maybe
think, I
Can I
think,
answer?
I think.
Go ahead, Judy. After you answer, I'm chiming on this. Go
Oh, okay.
ahead.
I think most of you guys, before United States even came into existence, their system of government was different from what it is now. They even had president that ran for like, I think they did like one did like how many, probably like more than two terms in the United States. And people just assume that, like Chance was saying, the system of America has been built. The way they came with their system was when everything was accomplished. When you go to Europe, they had what they used to call enlightened despot. These were kings that were ruling Europe, France, and all these other places, all these countries. They were enlightened in such a way where, even though they were dictators, they were still carrying on good projects, constructing, doing a lot of development in such a way where most of these countries have become democratic in such a way where they have a king and they have a prime minister who act. But back then it was just them. There wasn't no prime minister, so it was just the kings that were doing the job. So now, when it comes to Africa, the thing about Africa is the Europeans have divided us into religious sectors, into linguistic sectors, into a whole lot of different sectors. So we are divided in everything. Now, having an enlightened despot in Africa, is it easy to have that kind of a guy that, I mean, you have a guy now in Burkina Faso, Traore, he's actually doing a good job. Is he a replica of those kind of people? Yes, I think so. But it's a good system to have, but how can you identify this kind of people? I mean, it has to come when there's some kind of a refuge, when people are tired of what is happening, right? Because these people, you cannot just have a person elected democratically in a country and you assume he's going to be better. I haven't seen that. It has to come when people are striving, when people are tired, when people cannot take it anymore. And then you have that kind of a person that comes out of a blue and takes control of it and then decide to start putting things together, get everyone accountable. Those guys that were in power, have to freeze their whole economic stuff and get all those money. But when you have a president like Tinubu now, he's not going after Buhari. Buhari stole a lot of money. He's not going after him. The next president that left stole, they are not going after him because, they are being put in power. So, yeah, people like Xi Jinping should come in Africa and the guys should take control. But if it's not just gonna come in the blow like that, it has to be some kind of chaotic environment where people are fighting, scrambling. And then that leader comes in out of the blue. But saying that, it's just gonna no, it's not gonna. Yeah, I don't think so. But if it do comes out, and then it's a good thing. Yeah, man of precision, you can go ahead.
Yeah, that was a very relevant question. You posed there. So I've always been a proponent of democracy. Where people choose their own leader. And there's a time limit and something like that. But you have to go with things. Depending on the space you are operating with. Most African countries are not structured. You know that way. I don't know if we have some. If you have some colonized disorder or something like that, I don't know what's wrong with most African countries. I would say most. I mean, there are some of them, very few, that do not care. But if there's somebody, like the president of China, I don't know about Putin. I may say he's a little bit dictatorship or something like that, but I'm talking about somebody with revolutionary mind. Yeah, Putin is dictatorship, and maybe the people in the, I mean, the Western people say they don't like him. But if you ask Russia overall, they love the man. But I'm not going to go up to that extent. So let me go with the president of China, somebody with a revolutionary mind, and you decide to say, okay, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to introduce different kind of, different kind of rule legislator, to curb corruption. If somebody commit crime, embezzle money, or that kind of thing, not crime, if you embezzle money, their punishment is not just going to jail. I mean, we're going to kill you, or that kind of things. I mean, coming with very hard austerity measure, anywhere, to change the country dynamic where we are. Yeah, for me, being a proponent of democracy